Chapter 3. The Hungry Orphan and the Generous Trickster. Days passed, and Anansi grew restless. His first attempt at performing a kind deed had backfired, leaving him with nothing but a bruised ego. As he wandered the village, he kept the golden calabash close, eyeing it often in frustration. This should have been easy, he thought, just 3 acts of kindness. But who knew kindness required so much sincerity? One evening, as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the village, Anansi came upon a young boy sitting by the road. The boy was thin, with hollow cheeks and a look of hunger in his eyes. He clutched his stomach, staring at the ground as if hoping a morsel of food might magically appear. Anansi's eyes glinted with interest. "Here's my chance," he thought, creeping closer. "I'll give this boy something to eat. He'll be grateful, and maybe this time the calabash will recognize my kindness." Anansi reached into his pouch and found a small piece of bread, his last bit of food. He held it up, studying it for a moment. "It's a small price to pay if it gets me closer to unlocking the blessings of the calabash," he reasoned, though a part of him hesitated. Bread was hard to come by these days. He took a deep breath, then approached the boy. "Here, little one," he said, holding out the bread. "Take this. I'm sure you're hungry." The boy looked up, his eyes wide with surprise and gratitude. "Thank you, sir," he whispered, reaching out with trembling hands to accept the bread. He took a small bite, savoring it as if it were the finest feast he'd ever had. At first, Anansi felt pleased with himself. He was about to walk away, satisfied that he'd completed his second act of kindness. But something made him pause. He watched as the boy ate slowly, savoring each bite with a look of pure contentment. The boy's gratitude was real, unspoken, and quietly genuine, and somehow it touched a part of Anansi he hadn't expected. A strange warmth began to grow in Anansi's chest, a feeling he wasn't used to. He didn't feel the urge to boast or demand praise. He felt happy, in a quiet way, just from seeing the boy's hunger ease, from knowing he had helped without expecting anything in return. As he stood there, basking in this unfamiliar warmth, a soft glow appeared from within the golden calabash, faint but unmistakable. Anansi's eyes widened in surprise. He hadn't anticipated this. The calabash was recognizing his deed, not because he'd given the boy food, but because for once he hadn't done it for his own gain. Are you sure I can have all of this?" the boy asked, interrupting Anansi's thoughts. His voice was small, hesitant, as if he feared the bread might be taken back. Anansi nodded, smiling despite himself. Yes, take it. I don't need it anyway." The boy's face lit up, and he took another eager bite, his expression filling Anansi with a strange joy. For the first time, Anansi felt the simple contentment that comes from giving without scheming. He didn't say anything more, but as he walked away, he touched the calabash at his side, feeling the lingering warmth from its faint glow. A spark of understanding began to flicker in his mind, though he wasn't quite ready to admit it yet. So kindness can be rewarding in its own way, he thought, almost begrudgingly. But even as he tried to brush off the feeling, a small part of him recognized that something had changed within him. A genuine kindness, free of motives, had unlocked a small piece of the calabash's blessing. For the first time, Anansi wondered if perhaps Nisia's challenge wasn't about trickery or cleverness, but about discovering something within himself that he'd long ignored. Still, he wasn't entirely ready to abandon his old ways. One small glow wasn't enough to change him completely, but it was a start.